Alright guys, it's almost breeding season. Well, it is breeding season, and I'm going to show you how I like to probe my snakes before breeding season just to make sure that my males are males, my females are females. I don't want pairing up males together because they'll fight, and I don't want to pair females up together because, well, they won't produce any eggs if they do. So I'm going to show you how to use a probing kit to do so, and let's just get into this. Alright, you can order different probing kits off the internet and you can get amazing deals. I got this probe kit right here. I think it was like $15. The most important thing that you have to know is on these probing kits, these probes, there's a little ball on the end and you just want to run your finger on it just to make sure there are no spurs or sharp edges or anything like that. But it has these balls on the end that make it so the probes actually are quite comfortable for the snake, make it so they won't puncture any of the inner lining of your snake. So you can get any of those probe kits off of Amazon. I got it pretty cheap. Oh, out of focus here. There we go. So I'll show you the first snake. I'm gonna probe 4 different snakes. I'm going to do 2 adults and 2 babies. That way you can see what the difference is. Alright, I've got my girl Penelope here. This is going to be her first breeding season. She's just at about 1,500 grams. I'm not exactly ready to pair her up yet. I like her to get 1 or 2 more 100 grams in her just to make sure she's nice and healthy, has enough fat for the breeding season. But I just want to make sure she's a female. So what we're going to do here is we are going to be working with her cloaca, which is this part of the snake right here. She poops and pees from here and will also breed from here. And what we're going to do is we're going to get our probe and we're going to try to insert it on each side of her spine. So on this side, on the left, and on the right. Now, if she was a boy, she would have 2 little pockets that would go deep into her tail. And if she's a girl, the probes won't really go in very deep. So let's go ahead and let's get her all settled in. It can be a little difficult your first time. Here, I'll zoom in so you can see really well exactly what I'm doing. Okay, girl. There we go. All right, now I've already chosen the right size of probe for her. Something that's not going to be too deep. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of KY jelly on this probe just to make sure that it slides in really easily. And you're going to maneuver the probe. There's one scale, if I can get my camera to focus. There's one scale, this end scale here that covers her cloaca. You can either try to pull that scale back, or you can do like I like to do and just slip the probe right under the scale. And when you do that, all you have to do is kind of twist the probe a little bit. This is why you need to make sure there are no spurs on it. And push gently. And if it's a male, it'll go deep inside her. This isn't going in deep at all. I can feel it stop right there. I don't have to push very hard. So I would say that the amount that it went in was maybe a 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8 of an inch. Now, for good measure, I'm going to do the other side because there are 2 pockets on a male where it could go in. I'm going to try the other side here. And I'm twisting. I'm running into a block. And that's even less of a space right there. I know it might be a little bit hard to see, but since it didn't go in very deep, we know for certain that she's a female. You see, some people like to sex their snakes. They'll pull the tail back and they'll try to push the hemipenes out. The hemipenes are the penises for the boys. But sometimes the hemipenes, you can be mistaken and they won't pop out. Now, an experienced person usually doesn't have problems with this, but I'm not the best popper. All right, everybody, I've got my boy Grease Lightning here, and let's go ahead and probe him. I'm fairly confident that he's gonna turn out to be a boy, but he is the sweetest snake ever. I love this guy. And when you're probing snakes, the most important thing that you've got to make sure is that you actually go not into the middle of the spine, but to either side. And that'll give you a very acceptable and confident sexing of your snake. So I'm going to go ahead and insert it here on the right side. I'm going to keep it to the right of the snake. And boy, you can see it might not be very easy to see in the picture how far that went in, but you put it in there and it feels like it's not going to stop. Let's go ahead and do the other side. That is just so deep. So this is probably, on this guy, this is about maybe 1.25 inches. Yeah, probably 1.25 inches. But it's a very good way to detect if it's a boy or not. Let's go ahead and move on to some babies. All right. So here's one of my hatchlings. I've probed him several times, but I do want to make sure I'm going to ship him out soon. I just want to make sure that he's a male before I send him to a customer. And it would be horrible to have the customer sex him and it's actually a female. But this is one of my hatchlings. He was born in June. He's a special male ball python. And he actually pooped a little bit in his cage, so I got a little bit of poop on me. Let's just see. Wipe some of that off. All right. Okay. It can be a little bit more difficult to sex hatchlings, but not impossible. So since this is a boy, whoa, and his pocket is deep. He's very well endowed. So just on this 4-month-old, his pocket is about 1 inch, very deep. And you'll feel it when you're sexing him. You'll feel a deep pocket. I've got my last girl here. She's a hatchling I produced. She was born in June. So 6-7 months old. No, excuse me, 5 to 6 months old. And she is my only holdback from this year. But she's just beautiful. I love this snake. Let's get into it. Okay. She's really fighting me on this, but insert it into her cloaca. And you'll see when you do this, it stops immediately. On her, it went in about just a little over 1/4 inch. I'm going to try the other side of her cloaca. a little bit longer, but not anything compared to that last snake that I just did. I hope that was helpful for you guys. There are plenty of videos on the internet to show you how to probe snakes and pop snakes. I like to do it before each breeding season. You can find these probes on Amazon. You don't have to get these ones, just get one that will work for you. They'll usually send them with all sorts of different sizes. Remember, when you're selecting snakes, if the probe goes in really far, then it's a male. And if it goes in just slightly, it's a female. It's going to be a little bit different on each species, each different kind of snake. So just keep that in mind, do your research. But for me, all I needed to know was, does it go in far or not? And I'm pretty convinced that my ball pythons are what they were told to be, and I'm really excited for this upcoming breeding season. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. This has been Stephen from Clutch Pythons. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.